Hello, I'm back. Today I'm very excited because I'm interviewing Maggie Zhou. She is a social media influencer, a content creator, and a sustainability activist. I can't wait to have a chat with her today because I really want a job. Maggie, thank you very much for coming and chatting with me today.
Of course, you bribed me with ice chocolate, so I know.
So you're a social media influencer, you are a fashion journalist, you're a sustainability activist. What are those jobs and what do you do in them?
Do you know what's funny? Like when you say that, I'm like, yeah, I do all those things, but almost I don't even think of them as a job description. It's almost just like part of my identity, which is a good and bad thing. I think when the lines of work and life are so blurred together, there's always going to be good and negatives and positives with that. But what do I do in terms of all that? So in terms of my day-to-day, every day looks different, which suits me just fine. I'm someone that likes a lot of different things on the go at once. So I'm still studying at uni, but I sometimes write for publications, in particular right now for Fashion Journal, which means I could be interviewing someone on the phone or just writing in my room. In terms of my own social media, a lot of the time I'm chatting with brands over emails, trying to figure out like briefs and budget, and then also concepts, and then of course shooting, and then editing, and then sending it to them for approvals, and then actually posting. It's a long process for that one. And I think when you mentioned the sustainability aspect, I feel like that just very much feeds into both my social media and writing. It comes quite naturally to me. So I always try to write about topics like that, and you know, the brands I work with, I always try to work with sustainable brands as well. So.
Last year of uni next year?
Yes, I've got one semester left.
What do you study?
So I am at Monash University and I have done a double degree of communication design and media communication specialising in journalism.
Do you think you need to study journalism to be a journalist, or can you come at it in a different angle?
That's a good question, because I think both are legit. So studying journalism, I think, gives you the upper hand because you get to learn about, like, what's really helped is like the legal side for me, or just even the basics of like hard news journalism, which I don't really use anyway. But it's good to get that basis. That being said, I definitely think if somebody wants to be a writer or a journalist, they don't have to have that either. You can definitely just work on that yourself.
So you started your blog. How old were you when you started that?
Don't bring up my blog. I was in year 10, so I think I was like, quick maths, like 14 years old or something.
Yeah. But you've moved on to Instagram now as, like, I guess your main platform.
Yeah.
What inspired you to, I guess, first start your blog, and then what made you kind of move to Instagram, and then how have you grown your audience?
Yeah, so actually I did start my Instagram before my blog. I probably had it like a year before, and what I found was I wanted another outlet for more writing, more photography. This Instagram was quite, you know, just one photo, one little caption. It didn't kind of fulfill me as much. But then over time, my God, blogging takes a lot of time and energy, and I think I don't know if this is a bad thing, I was just getting more attention of Instagram.
Yeah, no, that makes so much more sense though, because that's how you grow your audience.
Exactly. It almost didn't feel as worth it. I just, the validation wasn't enough.
Yeah, I completely understand. That's the same with my blog.
I tried YouTube as well for a bit, but I found that the time you put into it just wasn't even equal. The same amount.
So you just work with Marc Jacobs, just like bam, I was scrolling on my Instagram feed and I see you holding Marc Jacobs perfume. A lot of people, when I asked that I was interviewing you, a lot of people ask the question how you get clients and how you make money as an influencer.
Juicy question.
I know.
I feel like everyone wants to know
Everyone
that.
does want to know.
So in terms of the client side, I'm pretty lazy, so I'm quite non-proactive. I just kind of wait for people to reach out to me. But I definitely also recommend people, like, feel free to go after a brand that you really want to work with. Like, don't be afraid to pitch yourself. But over time, you know, I've been doing this for like 8 years. Right? So I've built up a database of like PR and brands I've worked with. It's been so slow. I think lots of people think it's overnight success, but taken me 8 years to get like 13,000 followers, which if you look at it year by year, it's not the best track record. So over followers almost, I kind of prioritize the community I've made and put together, and I feel like brands are starting to appreciate that. It's less about followers.
I think so too. I think they're really starting to shift into what you have to say. Like, do you think you have to be an advocate to be an influencer? You have to have something to say?
I wish that was the case. I'd say yes and no. There's plenty of influencers, and like each to their own, completely fine, who may just focus on like fitness or just like fashion, or they might not have like a purpose behind it, and that's fine. But I do think, you know, we see the rise of like Flex Mommy and people like that. People are looking for
a voice.
A voice and substance.
Do you think you have to work for free to be able to get paid, or do you think working for free is kind of a bit of a dud end?
I definitely worked for free for so long. I only started probably making money like last year. It's a tough one because I feel like almost in all creative fields, we all work for free, and that's horrible. I am not for that, but I do think, you know, I'm looking at my writing, I look at my own socials, and I definitely have worked for free for a long period of time before I got paid. And if I'm honest, both my writing and my social media started as hobbies. I wasn't looking for a career, so that's why I was completely fine with doing it for free. Likewise now, I love taking photos, I love doing all this, but I think there comes a time where you do have to value like what you're creating.
So when brands do contact you and they're asking you to do something for free, how do you have the confidence, first of all, to be like, no, I'm worth more? And how do you know how much you're worth?
This is such a tricky one because, like, compare me now to the start of the year. I've started charging way more. Looking back, I was severely undercharging myself. In an influencer's perspective, I always think, hey, you're actually paying for a model, a photographer, creative direction, and an audience. So there's so much that goes into it. It's so hard though, because it is very much like a secretive industry, and everyone works quite individually. So 2 things I recommend. There's an Instagram page called Influencer Pay Gap, and people anonymously submit their pay and some collabs that they've done, and it kind of gives you a good outline of, you know, at this follow count you should be getting this much for a collab. Also there's a Facebook group and an Instagram page called Creative Gal Gang, and they also talk quite openly about this stuff. So I find just talking to others in the industry helps. It's hard.
It takes so much time and effort. Do you think interning is kind of worth its while, or is it too much free work?
Yeah, so I've done 4 internships now.
So many.
I know, and I'm very lucky because I live at home, so I'm able to kind of do it. I would say that they've definitely helped me. Like, they've kind of helped get me my job, and I have learned a lot, and I've like built up my bylines and my experience. But you know, that being said, it's just not fair asking so many people to work for free. So I'm very much torn. I hate to admit that like I can benefit from a system that is also exploitative and not good. So hard to balance.
How do you think the fashion industry is going to change post-COVID? Do you think we're going to move into more of an online world, like more than we are, or do you think people are going to just want that materiality?
Yeah, I'm very pessimistic when it comes to this stuff. I think, especially when we're talking at the start of COVID, like, oh, this is going to change us all. We're all going to be so like empathetic and together. I was very much cynical, being like, we're going to return back to normal as soon as we can. In terms of fashion, I do think there's been a bit of a wake-up call. So we've seen lots of brands, even high-end brands, change their model. For instance, Gucci announced that they're going kind of seasonless and taking out some of their fashion shows. We've seen that with Melbourne Fashion Week here. It's gone free and digital, a lot of it, so it's more accessible. And they've also implemented a rule where it's like designers don't have to show their spring-summer collection. It can be seasonless. Great.
That's
and I
really
think
good.
that's great changes, but I do think fast fashion will continue to thrive. I think we've seen the rise of like Depop and second-hand clothes, so I hope there is more of an effort to like continue the circular economy and stuff. But I am cynical, so
Is there anything you would tell anyone watching that wants your job? Like any advice you'd give them?
I think, especially with social media, like influencing, I think remember why you want to do it. I think people are like, I just want to get rich or whatever. But I think if you have like a solid purpose behind it, I feel like people say this a lot, but I think that makes all the difference. That kind of keeps me doing the long yards, because you won't see returns straight away.
Yeah.
And you, like it's hard, especially when it's so personal. Writing's so personal.
Yeah.
Like putting images of yourself on the internet, it's quite personal. So just remember why you're doing it.
Maggie, thank you so much for talking to me today. I love chatting to you about everything your job offers.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I've had such a great time on this beautiful day.
Yeah. Thank you.